in your world?
No, there was a glitch, but we're okay. Keep on
I was
going.
like, wait a minute, I'm so perplexed right now. Okay. Redo. Okay, welcome to episode 113 of No Particular Reason with your host, Kerri Lewis, alongside the amazing Yanko, where we talk about everything, anything, and nothing in between every week. You never know what the conversation is going to be. It could be about quantum physics. It could be about different, I don't know, dimensions or whatever suits our fancy, really. And then today I have a beautiful soul sister, Ada, who will be joining us to share her understanding of this human spiritual experience that we're having on earth right now. And yeah, I'm so looking forward to it. So thank you for being here, beautiful soul.
Thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here with you both. This is so nice. This energy of just expansion and sharing.
Yeah. Well, first off, I'm vibing so hard with the blue you're wearing. It's making me very happy. So
Oh, this?
yeah,
This one?
the whole fit is just, it's
I
just
was
pops.
I was saying it's nice. It matches with Yanko's background,
Oh
my
yeah.
shirt.
I can't keep track. Yanko stitches it up on me. And I have a blue background, or if I'm at Nana's house, it's whatever. But anyway, okay, Ada.
Yeah.
So for the listening audience, I connected with you maybe a year and a half, 2 years ago, through a mutual friend, Justin. And at that time, you had created some really profound sound healing tracks that were set up to support people who were moving through addiction and really mental health issues. I'm curious, sound healing, how did you come to know that that's your calling, and how does that move through you to then be able to give to the world?
Oh, wow. So nice you're asking this question. I had no idea what exactly we're going to be talking about, but well, great. I think it's an important subject in general about sound, because everything is changing so much and so fast on earth right now, and people really really have a need to know their soul, which is the energy in their body, which is connected to all the emotions and thoughts as well, everything as consciousness basically. And people really want to know more and more, because it's also all of these things with AI and all of these things is developing so fast. So, and all this information, that's also why it's great to share like this. I love sharing in a live video like this with different kinds of people, because everyone have their unique role in this world, right? And this thing about sharing is so important. But anyway, this all this information coming out, AI coming out, so people are really being pushed to go more within at these times to really know their soul, and sound is such a great tool for that. I didn't actually. It's interesting because I didn't choose. It feels like I didn't choose to work with sound, but it just came to me naturally. Um, and it's just something that flows. I use a lot my voice. I started doing. Try to make this short, but I started doing hands-on healing intuitively when I was 17. And then I started, and I was teaching yoga, mindfulness, all these things for years. Now I'm 38. I just turned 38. I was like, well, how old am I? I don't think about my age. So
Listen,
wait a
I'm
minute.
46, and people are like, you're 46. I'm like, I don't act 46. I act like I'm 5. So,
Great. Exactly. It's all about what you feel inside that
Yeah.
matters. I so and then 5 years ago, something happened to me when I was just in a lot of pressure. I lost, how when Corona came out, it was like an initiation for most of people on Earth to change the direction. And for me, it happened in a way where I lost my job. I had a lot of debts. I lost my home and relationship, and everything just crumbled down. And I had some traumatic sensations that I had to deal with, that came up in my body. And I didn't have the right tools to actually go. I knew how to work with healing, but I didn't have these tools how to go in a deeper way into it. And I was just forced into it and forced to deal with what I was dealing with. And the deeper I went into it, and I was a lot in nature and sat with it, I started experiencing a lot of stuff in my body, you know, even channeling beings. And this sounds really crazy, I know, but this is actually, it's just me, my soul. You can see it like this: my soul making sounds that were like vibrations that needed to come out. But that
Mhm.
time I didn't know yet what that was, but this is what channeling means. But I just had to clear my energy to get to know what this is with this, my voice. What is this? Because I was singing before, but it wasn't the same thing because it felt almost like just something just coming through me. It was me, but it wasn't me. It was just natural flow. Anyway, but to get to know this, I had to go into some past lives and heal and clear to remove some blockages in my body. And then I started feeling more and more free here inside. I had to spend still a lot of time in isolation in nature to build up this new energy. Because once you open yourself to your psychic abilities, it's also quite overwhelming because you start to feel everything so intense.
Everything.
You have to really learn how to ground and clear your own energy to get more clear into who you are, what's your center, what's your core. And then I started working more with sounds, and they started developing into more of these overtones, undertones that are more full in its expression, like really healing. So now I have this gift of bringing people into these deep states, and I combine it with these sounds, and it can really deep reach those cellular levels of it. Yeah.
I love that. And, for the listening audience who may feel like what you are sharing is weird or whatever, just suspend what you think you know. Because
Yeah.
the minute you suspend what you think you know, you actually give your brain permission to have expansive experiences. We lock ourselves into a specific way of living because we assume that what we've been taught or how we view the world is right, when really it's just one expression
Mm,
of our human experience, and we can have multitudes. So that's what I would encourage the listening audience to consider
yeah.
when hearing what you share. So
Mm-hmm.
for the listening audience, Ada, what from your perspective is quantum healing? Because we hear this going around, it's all over Instagram now, but I
Yeah.
think there's a lot of misunderstanding. People don't really comprehend what quantum healing is.
Mm. And I think you, Yanko, is probably working with the same with your hypnotherapy. We have it in our own unique ways how we work around it, of course. But sorry, but well, I have a really bit interesting explanation coming up to now to share about it. Is that what's coming to my mind is to say is that how the pyramids are built. They have four corners. Or no, this is three, four. Anyway, four corners, and they all represent four elements that the whole physical reality is made of. And the top of it, it's perfect balance, right? You cannot have it in a more stable way than this. Four corners, four legs on earth. And then in the middle you have the tip, and the middle is what is created from having those four corners in place, totally synchronized. And that symbolizes the four elements that we are made of being in balance. When those are in balance, you can tune into the fifth element, which is the ether. And the ether was actually, this is really interesting, an interesting thing I heard lately, which so much makes sense because we live in a program society where
Yep.
we are distracted, we have to perform, and we are not it's not designed to help us to understand who we are on a soul level. So the ether was actually removed from the periodic table in the beginning of, I think it was 1920, around there, which for me makes sense. And now when people talk about this soul, the energy in the body, psychic abilities, the ether. It's ether. It's what it's like. You don't see it, but you can still feel it. It's what you feel inside. It's all about what you feel inside. And it's also the unlocked DNA, because we have so much DNA that is dormant, right? And it's just basically sensing more frequencies. And this is very hard to talk about in these human concepts, because it's like, it's just concepts,
It's
the words, right?
experience. I mean, that's the thing
Mm.
that I encourage people, and I will jump in real quick to say what you provide, Ada and Yanko as well as myself, is an
Yeah.
experience for an individual. When you suspend what you think you know and you work with somebody such as Ada or Yanko, who can get you into different states within your own mind, then you have the
Mm.
experience. And that is how you know it's truth. To your point, Ada, it's very hard to talk about it in concepts because
Yeah.
it's you can't describe what is known but not knowable until you have the experience.
Hello in New Zealand.
I know, running amok. I love your name because I'm running amok all the time. Okay, so here's what I want to ask you, because I hear all the time about Atlantis. I want to say Plato writes about Atlantis, but I know one of the great, what is it, philosophers speaks about Atlantis. Talk to me about Atlantean whatever, because I don't know much other than, oh, the
Oh,
lost
I love
civilization.
this. I love this, Kerri. You're fantastic. I'm just like, when you just ask me that, my heart is like, it's just like, I just feel like, thank you. Because I love that subject. And I know it's so hard to grasp it when people haven't had those experiences of reliving past lives. And, because many of the things that we do in this life are repetitive cycles, in one way, or everything is actually in one way or another, more or less related to past lives, because the soul is infinite. And when you get to know this soul that is infinite, the energy in your body that is this life force, that we are all part of source, and the more you get to know that, the bigger you can grow your electromagnetic field, which is, the earth is also made of that in its own way. So it's like this: when you ask about quantum healing, this is the quantum field. It's the same as your soul. Actually, you can just call it your soul in the end of the day. And I when we well, I had to relive past lives in Atlantis. That was my way of clearing stagnant energy from my body in order to channel. And but what I wanted to say was really important to say about this quantum. You asked also about the quantum. What the quantum field means is like, it's hard to talk about it human words, because it's something that you can only actually, the best way to access is to consciously relax. Like, I mean, going through your body, you have all the answers in your body, and
Yep.
everything is there, like you both know so well, you, Kerri and Yanko, so because you work with this. So using breath is very simple. You just consciously let go, and you feel wherever there's tension in the body, whatever your body wants to tell you. And you can go step by step by step by step by step by step into this very, very, very deep states of relaxation, where you shut down all these extra noise, I call it, that we have in the daily activities. And the nervous system that is more in the sympathetic one, that you just come more into this parasympathetic, this totally clear natural state. When you go into this relaxation state, maybe it can also be good to practice this a bit, to get into this deeper state. But it's just a natural state. It's just the most natural you that you can come to. And usually, what happens with me, at least people who do journeys with me, they go into past lives because it's some memory that they are repeating right now in this life, that they cannot explain. Maybe they don't know how to get out of their cycles, problems, whatever they're repeating in their life right now, or whatever challenges they have. And so it's like going to the root of it. And sometimes you have to go to past life. Anyway, I just try to explain it a bit short to so that it makes sense more somehow. But Atlantis, yes, it's really important, because in my experiences, when I went back to those memories, I personally, I had to become that, integrate that frequency in me in this moment of life, because in order to become who I'm meant to become, more of a, higher version of me, so to say, in order to become that who I'm meant to become more in this life, to do what I'm meant to do, my soul's mission, embodying that bigger magnetic field, that I had to, for that to happen, I had to go into that memory in Atlantis, because you have to relive it, you have to experience, so that you can integrate it in your body. It's not just like some memories coming back and, oh, that was interesting. Oh, let's go on with our daily life again. No, everything will change when you go deep into the consciousness in the body. It's
It's
just like,
very
Well,
true. Everything will
for,
change.
for
And
some people, it might be that way. When it
yeah,
first
yeah, of
starts, it
course.
might feel
Yeah,
like
yeah.
it.
Oh, you're right, Yanko. Thanks for giving me that point, because you're right. Because actually, some of these journeys can also feel a bit like, well, you kind of revisit something, and then you come back again and you forget about it. But in some layers, some people feel the effect more, in a more transformative way in their body, and some people remember these things less. Either way, it's still something is changing there in the field, no matter if we are, so depending on how aware of it we are of it, or not. But anyway, Atlantis, that the last fall of Atlantis, these are just my experiences that I'm talking from right now. About 12,000 years ago, when the whole humanity pretty much was wiped out, was because uh, we had to lower ourselves into a lower dimension, a lower frequency, or the whole planet actually. And because we are part of her process, we had to be, go through that as well with her. Because in Atlantis, everything was about, oh dear Lord, I feel so much in my heart when I just mention it, because it's like coming home. That's the feeling I have. It's like in my memories there, everyone knew what their role was. They trusted their own abilities, which is the presence, the energy they embody. They knew how to channel that. They knew how to transform energies. They knew how to, you know, be aligned with their core, with their center, and they everyone is unique, a unique soul. So everyone just knew that, and so it was a very cooperative, harmonious way of being, because we didn't compare to each other. Everyone was just at home with the earth, Mother Earth, but some of these technologies we had was very advanced, because they also started abusing this technology of, the crystalline high frequency technology. We were very connected with it, but some people didn't follow the universal laws, the natural laws, which is like, not controlling stuff, but just letting it flow more and be more in harmony with the nature's way. So that had to be destroyed, so that we could start over again and clean that karmic energy collectively. And now we are here again, 12,000 years later, where we are unlocking the DNA again, so we can integrate all these abilities. I mean, and people are waking up to their soul again, and which is beyond what we have been programmed into in our society. So that's why this is important. It's somehow, yeah, it's important for many people that age, because of what they embodied, and to remember that again, and don't be and not to be afraid of their power just because it went a bit wrong that life. It doesn't mean that it's going to be in this life. We shouldn't be afraid of our power, and trust ourselves again, and express this, what we embody, and become that, and practice what we preach. Yeah, that was a long
Love it. I
explanation.
love
I,
it. No,
I
it's
love
good.
it. I was just
We're
quiet because I wanted to give Yanko an opportunity to
Yeah,
speak.
I wanted to hear your view also, Yanko. What's your experience with these things
I'm
are?
just like listening because I don't have many memories from Atlantis, and I haven't explored Atlantis as much.
Mm.
Although I had some that surfaced from like Egypt and stuff like it. But
Mm.
usually, whatever needs to happen and clear out, I just focus on that when it comes
Yeah,
up to my personal development or whatnot. And yeah, I was thinking
exactly.
when you were talking about it, how it's maybe the same way of like how people are scared of like having another world war and all this stuff. And this is all like the karma coming back and unfolding,
Oh.
and you know, and it works differently for everyone. It works in different ways,
Mm.
and people are triggered differently and react differently. So yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
there's a couple points that you said that I want to highlight for the listening audience that I absolutely love. That is spot on. Is one, trust yourself. The greatest issue that I see in the field of work that I do, because I work with a lot of unconscious people still, or people who are just starting to challenge, right, what it is that
Mm.
they've been programmed to operate in. And the greatest barrier that I see in really that expansive quantum healing is their inability to trust themselves, to listen to
Mm-hmm.
themselves. They're constantly seeking advice from others or looking at some past experience to make an informed decision about what's unfolding. And in doing so, you're honoring a fear-based ego and not really listening with your soul. So I love that, and it was a big practice for me and something I still have to lean into, because I, operated from a lot of fear for much of my life and addictions and stuff. The other thing that I love is embodying, and that's another part that I love about you. Like I watch, what you put out, and certain people, and it's not always about what people say. It's the embodiment of it. Your energy expresses it, even if people feel like they don't necessarily comprehend what you're putting into concept. The energy that's emitted speaks to the
Yes.
embodiment of the experience. And I'm really big about that as well, because you know people, it's all about experience. There are people who hire me and I'm in the antithesis of what they're used to. I'm covered in tattoos. I don't wear a bra. I swear like a trucker. I will cancel in a heartbeat if I can't, show up for you. And but the energy that I emit feels safe for them. So even if conceptually it makes no sense why they vibe with me, I embody that safe space for them, and in doing that, I'm able to serve them. So I love all of that.
Exactly, because you know how to give that to yourself.
Yeah,
So that's why you can give that safety to others as well.
yeah,
So we have to yeah, that's I love that, Kerry, and we can talk
Uh,
about this in so many different layers, because what you're explaining is the same like I'm explaining, but from a different,
Differently.
yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's kind of the same. We keep repeating the same things over and over, and we're going in circles. We're just expressing it differently, and it
Yeah,
lands differently for everyone. Because some
exactly.
people might listen to you and say, "Aha, now I get it," or they might listen to Kiri and say,
Yeah,
"Oh, now I get it," or me. Depends on
exactly.
how it lands. But
Yeah,
you both are 100%. If you know how to go there yourself, it's easier to take somebody with you, and you don't even have to say anything. You just have to be present, and they kind of go with that energy around you, your field, your aura, whatever you want to call it, and you just feel it. So yeah.
exactly. And even though these things sound complicated sometimes, when we talk about the quantum field and the infinity of the soul and all these memories from past lives and these deeper journeys that we can have, but we don't have to have them. It's not for everyone to go in that level. Like we are all unique. We have all unique roles in the whole. Everyone is needed, no matter what they're doing, playing out. But anyway, you can talk about the same things that I talked about now, in this very human way too, which is also very important, because actually, even though I'm talking about a past life in Atlantis, how I unlock my channeling abilities and what it means for me. It's also related to my traumas in this life. It's all that, actually. It's all that. It's just going a little bit more beneath the scenes,
Yeah.
behind the scenes, to the subconscious. But you can work with this in so many levels. But I had to go through those kind of deep, deep, deep journeys in order to heal my traumas in this life. And it's not even, I don't even see it as a thing of healing yourself from something. It's more like the traumas or these repetitive patterns you have. It lives in the memory, in the nervous system, where we are disempowered, and people pleasing, maybe not knowing how to speak up, put boundaries, how to be ourselves fully and completely and in our own energy. Especially when you're sensitive, you just fall into other people's energies a lot, and this is not gonna lead anywhere. It's just you stay in the same loops. This is what trauma is. So it's interesting, because what I figured out is that your gifts, your unique abilities, which is your soul's blueprint, your unique soul's blueprint, is beneath those traumas. So your traumas is actually a training for you in this life. Like, for
Yep.
example, me, I was like this super sensitive, still as sensitive as I'm now, but I didn't really know how to be in my own energy. I could sense all the people's thoughts, emotions, feelings, and in my physical body as well. And I was just like, I was also working with entertainment hosts at some point, and I loved that work. But I was like, woohoo, everywhere and everyone's energy. But I got so lost in the end. Sometimes I was like, but who am I?
Yeah.
It's like, and I had a really hard time to put boundaries to people, because it's like I had to start to value myself more from getting to know myself as a energy in my body. So this is the way I did it. So then I figured out that when I switched it, my gifts, we still go through learning process throughout whole life, of course, but now I'm operating more from like, aha, now my gift is to actually be, instead of being a sponge like I was before, now it has become more of the opposite. Now I still sense everything as much as before, because that's the trauma, but it's also the gift. So it's like this inner antenna going on all the time. But I know now how to work with it, how to work around it, how to be my own energy, how to choose myself, how to choose how I want to feel. So, and how I don't identify with what I'm experiencing, and not taking on, okay, this is maybe from someone else, and doesn't matter where it came from. Whatever I'm experiencing is there. I'm breathing, I'm clearing it, I'm choosing myself, standing in my own energy. This is me, because this is how I want to feel.
Yeah.
So I'm creating my own reality. So I become more of a generator rather than a sponge. But it's still as sensitive as before.
What advice would you give to somebody that's going through it now? That you went through that, experience of like getting that. What advice would you give somebody that's like unlocking that, or maybe in the same kind of position now?
Yeah, that's an interesting question, because I think the people who I'm talking a lot to are empaths, and that's what you both are as well. And a lot of empaths who are very empathic, some of them they're just wired like that. They have a different nervous system that is just more sensitive. And they have to recognize that not everyone is going to be like me. I am unique, and I have to get to know this. What is this sensitivity I feel? And why do people always screw me over just because I'm empathic? I want to help. I want to do something good for the world. But those people, I've noticed that the more empathic you are naturally, the more stronger boundaries you need to have. The more you need to be like, integrate this aggressive
Yes.
side of you as well, because it's not that you're a bad person. Because people who are very empathic, they don't really feel comfortable being this aggressive way of being very expressive. But choosing yourself, choosing how you want to feel, no matter what. No matter what other people think about you, even people from your past, what you were told, how you grew up, you are what you create. So and it's sometimes getting out of your comfort zone as well. Sometimes we are pushed to do this as well, in different situations. I had to really work hard on this one. Like I had to realize that, okay, I in order to be who I'm meant to be, to expand my energy, to be more centered and aligned, that means I'm valuing myself. I take care of myself. I want to prioritize how I want to feel. In order to do that means that I'm valuing myself too. And then it's like loving myself. And then you gravitate
Right.
people towards you who reflect that to you back as well. So everything becomes more aligned. But I had to get used to this thing about being okay with being a little bit aggressive as well. And it wasn't really aggressive, but that's how I thought. I thought that it was a more of aggressive way of being more assertive, expressive, putting boundaries, because I grew up in a way where I was suppressed.
Yeah.
And by the way, that's why I like doing this live show with you both, because I've noticed that Americans, in general, of course, you have a more of a way of being, more of an expressive way of being. And I think that we can implement a bit more of that here in the Nordic countries as well. I mean, north of Europe specifically. I wanted to say that, by the way.
Well, it's interesting because offline we were talking about the fact that I am connected with individuals in the Middle East and who come from the Philippines, and I 100% bear witness to this programming of suppression, programming of performance in order to, service the great. You suppress yourself, believe it or not, it seems like you're in service to the greater good, but it's not, because it's not sustainable. And then you start to just see the decline of individuals in their physical and mental health and family structure. And so I love, and I'm very good at being assertive, clearly.
I love it. I love it about you.
But interestingly enough, Ada, for me, I had the ability to be assertive, but my trauma was creating the story that I was bad because of it. So now I know that there's nothing wrong with me being assertive. Obviously delivery and how you present boundaries is important, and I had to learn that. But for me, it wasn't about advocating for myself. It was believing that because I advocated for myself, that made me a bad person. So it's very interesting because we came to the same understanding, just from very different points of view.
Wow, that's amazing. That's what I love about this with sharing and people being different and honoring these differences, and because you trust yourself so much and who you are, what your role is, and not comparing. And amazing.
Yeah. Well, going back to what Yanko said, and I'll re-ask the question, but I'm even more curious because I only know my experience. You said that 5 years ago when COVID hit, really it was this crumbling of one identity and this reemergence into, more of an aligned consciousness. How did you know to do that work for yourself in nature, which is where you connect greatly with source? So for me anyway, and autonomously, because it seems to me, and I could be wrong, that you did it alone. You really did a lot of that work by yourself. And to add to that, what Yanko said, what advice would you give to other individuals who are being called?
Yeah. You're right, Kerri. It's good that you mentioned that, because I forgot to mention that I did get help from a person. I didn't do it all alone in the start. Like I said, even though I've been working with healing since 15 years before, how many years? I don't know, since I was 17. Anyway, a long time, even remote healings. This was nothing compared to that. I was being initiated for a new way of being, a new way of working with energy, a new way of being me, basically, that I didn't know that this was actually more really me, but in order to get to know that and clear out all the baggage of energies that was part of my old versions, I needed some help in the start. So there was this person I just was very guided. I just followed my intuition. We just happened to reach each other through social media, who knows how, uh, and um, and then we connected, and just felt so at home with her. I can't explain it. I just felt like I need her, and she was doing quantum healing hypnosis technique that Dolores Cannon taught. If you've heard of it,
Yeah.
uh, I mean, what I'm doing is pretty much same, but I do it in my way that suits my soul. This is just has that something that has come to me as a guidance, to do that. It's not even me choosing it, almost, like that. That's how much it's of me, and I combine it with sounds. But she did it in a way that she learned from Dolores Cannon. It was amazing because that that those were the journeys where I went to those past life, and he help. Sometimes we need some help, but it depends on your journey. After I was done with that process, it was like a couple of months. Then it was time for me to go alone in nature, and I was isolated after that as well for 1.5 year. Like I couldn't be around any people for half a year, especially. It was like the most critical time after that to build up this new energy. So we have to also put our own effort into these things. Sometimes we also need sometimes help. But what I've noticed is that when you work with consciousness, with your body as a memory, it's very important that you you feel comfortable with the person. Like you said, Kerri, people feel comfortable with you because they resonate with you, and that's very important because there is a resonance of the frequencies that are able to help each other, and it's about connection. So in the end of the day, this is all about connection, the right connection, connecting with the right person at the right time. uh, but after that, I did have to do this on my own as well, because when you build up new psychic muscles, when you build up a new way of being, new energies, it's not just going out of your comfort zone. You also it's also good to have a commitment to yourself, so that you can, when you put more your own effort, you also start to be master your energy more. But we still need each other, but it shouldn't be this neediness, this yeah,
Yes.
neediness. Like you come together in this empowered way, and then it's always more expansive and transformative. But sometimes we need maybe a little bit assistance to some point of degree. But what I did alone was that, so there was just, in that point of time, there was just so much that had to be cleansed out of my system, that my body just did it naturally. So for me, it was just relaxing a lot, just a lot, like sitting still in the meditation in nature, just sitting, feeling the earth, just breathing. And what I use a lot for myself is specifically just allowing the body to show me where it needs my attention. Are there any uncomfortable sensations, any tensions? Well, I go there, I just sit with it, I just let it be as it is, I don't try to change anything. And I use this very simple technique of breathing into the nose and exhaling through the mouth, and let everything be as it is. And while I'm exhaling through the mouth like this, again and again and again, it's a very simple but effective technique for relaxing the central nervous system. So the body has its own natural way to heal stuff. We
Yep.
just have to let go sometimes, let go, and allow it to do its own thing.
I wanna say I watched this documentary that this guy created. He followed for a year every single day. He went down and he followed an octopus. And at one point in this documentary, the octopus lost one of its tentacles. It got ripped off by a shark. And that octopus knew to go to its place. It got to its home. It was so weak, couldn't eat. But it just sat there. It was relaxed. It lived in its, and it grew back a new tentacle. And this guy, caught it. And it got me thinking, because we have heard, I have, and other people have heard accounts of people growing limbs and, healing from cancers and stuff. We innate have the ability to come home to center, homeostasis, to like connection at any point. It's just we again have been programmed to feel like we have to do. We have to go do something, or we have to, and we don't. We Our job really is to, and that's why scripture says be still and know, right? And all scriptures across different terrains of the earth. There's the kingdom of heaven exists within you. All of this stuff, and it's to your point. When you are super relaxed, your body has the ability to regenerate everything. We just don't give it enough time because we live in this fast-paced society where we think we have to perform in order to achieve a result. When really, what you're saying, Ada, and I've experienced myself personally, we don't have to do more. We actually
Mm-mm.
have to be still.
Yeah,
Yeah, we don't.
exactly.
You don't have to do anything.
Yes,
No. Hi, Steven, by the way. He
I
commented.
know.
I
Hi,
just wanted to say.
Steven. And it was a great film. It was on Netflix, and it actually, I saw it after watching, I don't know, a movie about an octopus that was a film, which was beautiful. But anyway, it was just, it made me love creation so much more, because we in our human mind create all of these stories and the imprinted conditions that we're like the smartest, you know, being on earth. And when you observe nature,
Mm.
nature inherently is high intelligence in all of its facets. And it doesn't try to control. So it actually, the flow is much more powerful than we as humans experience for ourselves, because we try to control.
Mm-hmm.
I was gonna add in to even circle back to what we originally started with, the days of the AI and everything. That
Yeah.
this is why nature works for a lot of people, because it's the original code. You're sitting with the original vibration of plants, nature, everything. You're not into some synthetic environment when frequencies are created artificially with computers, technology, other things that also affect how you vibrate your own vibration. So in
Yeah.
my experience, nature does it that way. You gotta, at least for me, to go in nature and kind of like take a breather and kind of go back to the original code.
Exactly. I love that. The regional code. And it's the region of your soul as well. Yes.
Okay, so let me ask you this, Ada, and I'm big about, so for me, I'm always vulnerable with my listening audience about what I'm growing through. And when I grow, it's usually, and this is me personally, something that presents as fear for me. And then to move through that fear, what or how do you experience your expansion? What comes up for you, and what do you do to nurture yourself through it rather than judge the experience?
Hmm. Well, like I said before, I had a hard time to know what was my feelings and which were other feelings and emotions, thoughts, and energies. Now, when I have it, it just for me, it's been a lot about clearing, because most of people don't know how to clear their own energy. They just run on these loops, and actually, most of people are influenced by entities. And I'm sorry that I'm saying this word, because many people get so triggered of me mentioning this, and I get it, because we don't see them, and we most of people don't resonate with this notion. It also brings up a lot of fear in people, but
Mhm.
it's just nothing special. It's the same thing as talking about trauma and our wounds, our patterns. They are all one and the same. It's just that when you mention entities, that's more like kind of giving it a name that is more of an energy, because everything is energy, right? There's nothing to be scared of. It's just my own pattern. It's like where we have holes in our energy
Aura,
field.
yeah.
That's where um, either we fall into addictive patterns, or we might be people pleasing, or anything that is takes away from being our in our own center and empowered. So for me, to I had to expand more, to be expand my energy more. One thing was to, raising my vibration was basically also to put boundaries, so that the energies communicate my boundaries more, and boundaries energetically as well, with just choosing me. No, this is my energy, this is where I stand, and I'm choosing how I want to feel. And anything that is not, that I feel tries to make myself smaller, I'm gonna push away, because I don't tolerate this. I'm not going to allow this to myself. I'm valuing this. So it also comes with, placing boundaries and putting boundaries, communicating boundaries. That's one of the things that I had to do work on hard, big time, in order to expand my energy. Expansion of energy, that means you're living your purpose also. Because, like I said, Mother Earth has its own electromagnetic field, and we have our own, and we are all connected. And this is very hard for the mind to understand, but we are here on Earth for a reason. And it's what you do with your energy. That's the key. So, anyway, that's one of the things. Another thing is this thing about clearing my energy. It's kind of like, because it's kind of like when you have to clean your home, right? You have to do that inside yourself as well sometimes. And for me, it means more like, just clearing, because when I'm around a lot of people at work, or parties, or outside in cities, or you just whatever it is, I'm involved with people. We are all involved with people around us in one way or another, energetically, whether we want or not. And the more we are choosing to be in our own center, and choosing this calm, centered, aligned way of being, the less we are influenced by lower vibrations, basically. But we don't have to judge lower and higher vibrations, whatever. Our experiences are meant to be as they are, no judgment about it. It's so easy to fall into the entity patterns when they feel so familiar. Exactly, Juliana. I'm so happy you're here, Juliana, because she is also an expertise of clearing entities. So anyway,
Well,
energies.
Juliana can join our show anytime she wants.
Yeah,
To. Yeah.
yeah, that would be great.
We could have a big old party, the four of us.
Yeah,
That's right.
I think I think she would actually fit. Juliana would fit very well into this. Our energies here, but
Well, you
what?
have an
Yeah,
official invitation now from me, Kerri, and you. So there you go.
yay! So, but yeah, I think this is just important to mention that people have their own ways, of course, how to clear their own energy, but it's kind of like cleaning the house. You don't want to be involved with just anyone's energy, and
Woo! Wait a minute. I just have to interrupt. Mic drop. Mic drop. I am so big about that. Again, I can only speak from my experience and what I examine with the individuals that I get to support and be of service to. We allow ourselves to engage in energies that don't honor us or feel good because of a pre-programmed belief that, oh well, it's a family member, oh it's a boss, or it's somebody who, and we do a gross disservice to ourselves, our soul, when we engage in energy that does not feel supportive for us. And for me, if it's not a hell yes, it's a fuck no. I mean, it's a you and me, I can love you from over there, but you're going to be over there and I'm going to be over here, and I'm good with it.
yeah, exactly, and accept as they people as they are, but also accept as you are.
Yeah.
So don't let other people to affect the way you are and how you feel. And if you do get affected by it, maybe check in on yourself. Do I need to clear someone's energy out here that doesn't align with me, or do I need to communicate boundaries and in that way clear some energy, to keep my set channel clear, and that I feel like, I can be me in my fullest version of me that I can, with not having any permission from anyone than yourself. And that with that also comes expressing that. That's also one of the thing of expansion.
Your throat chakra. That I
Yeah.
mean, I was born with an open throat chakra, so God bless everybody who ever came make that.
Great, but that's your gift.
Yeah, oh, that's my gift, all right. I mean, I had no filter when I was young. Now I can at least at 46 deliver a message from love rather than just
I love that. That's so nice.
yeah.
Well, where we all have our own unique walks of life.
Yeah. But I really I love the idea. I've never heard of it explained that way. Like our past trauma, our past experiences as entity, as energy. Like it's just an energy. And for me, Yanko said earlier, I burp up energy all the time. Like I will get up and have to dance and move my body and twist stuff. And if I'm out of alignment and need to realign, but that is what I'm called to do. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? And it is all releasing old patterns, old trauma, and other people's energy that I end up picking up because I'm still very good at taking other people's energy.
Wonderful.
Well,
That's your way. Yes. Great.
I was gonna say, since we're on the topic of entities, because I understand them differently. Maybe correct me if I'm wrong. Um, Tell me more about how do you like experience them when you opened up, because people in my experience, or at least how it was for me, I wasn't aware that there's all this like other world out there with different beings and things like that. And I had to kind of figure it out on my own. So, do you want to like pitch in and tell a little more, or give us your perspective?
Well, I don't think we have to think about things as entities, really. It's just more about, what I've noticed that sometimes we give less power to 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 energies that disempower us with just mentioning the word entity, because the entities are the same as traumas, and the traumas are usually the unseen parts of us that we act on unconsciously, and then which are always about disempowerment of one way or some kind. And they are in the subconscious mind as a memory stored in the body, and because it's something hidden, when we don't talk about it, we don't bring it up to light, it's fed, that energy feeds off of you. Your energy leaks where your traumas are, your unhealed wounds are, that you are not you don't have to be perfect. No one is here to be perfect, but like I said, the gifts are lying in the traumas. So it's really good to get to know that trauma as a learning part of your life, and be vulnerable and talk about it openly, because when you don't, then it stays hidden. And it's the same thing with the entities. So how I see it is more like, oh, just energy, basically. Where are you leaking your energy? That's where the entities are feeding off of your energy. And it can come, um, it can be how you relate to people, how you relate to your past, even, because it's all about right now, what you think of it, what memory you carry in yourself. Um, so for me, okay, I'm guided to share this experience actually to you from yesterday. This is interesting we talk about this because this happened just yesterday. Um, First of all, I had this experience at work where I go sometimes at the office, and I noticed that, because the work environments, especially offices, even though I like the work that I do, is just so much in the mind. And the more people are in the mind, the more harvested their energy is, the more they're leaking their own energy because they're not in the body. They're not present here in the body, feeling what they're feeling. And I'm trying to do both all the time. When I'm at the office, I never lose track of my body. And this actually, the more I try to say this to people there as well, that, hey, just be yourself. Because, I mean, just be in your body and let the body do its own thing and listen to your body and choose how you feel all the time. Even though you have to focus on this work. But at the end of the day, the work becomes also better when you are when you are prioritizing your health,
Yeah.
how you feel inside. So anyway, I just realized when I came home from work that on the way home that I had all these thoughts that was like almost like forcing my brain to think these thoughts. It wasn't almost, it didn't feel like me, but
Yeah, they
these
were in
thoughts.
your thoughts.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was like these
Yeah.
thoughts of like, hey, who do you think you are posting all of
Yeah.
this stuff
Yeah.
that you post?
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
have this because of my own childhood, as of course, because these influences that are disempowering for us, or where we leak energy, are always related to our life lesson, which is related to our childhood, right? And of course, I have cleared a lot of that, but it's still like they try to come in and sneak their way in. And it's like, if I don't recognize this, like, hey, I don't want to think about this, I don't want to have these thoughts. I just need to choose. But sometimes I need to call them out as, hey, I know you fucker there. Oh, sorry, my language,
Oh,
but
I
I
do love fucker. Yeah.
I love it.
I'm
There you
like, I'm
go.
like, hey, I know you are I know you are an entity. I know wherever you came from, if it's other people's thoughts or just the programming of the matrix of the society that try to keep us trapped more. Wherever this came from, it's still some form of energy or entity, whatever you want to call it. So I had to call it out. I was like, in my own mind, I was like, hey, I see you, and I'm not allowing you to come in, invade my space, because I can feel that these are just becoming very repetitive now, and I don't want to have these thoughts. And that's all it took. For some reason, I had to call this out as entities, and then it was like gone. It was like, hey, I can do better than this. And whatever challenges you have in your life that are disempowering, or where you're leaking energy, is actually trying to push you to become more of a full version of you, more of a whole version of you, more expanding your energy. So that I realized that I don't need to, take these thoughts just because they are there. I can also look at them and be like, hey, you can go back wherever you came from, because I'm choosing this. I'm not going to listen to this. I know who I am. I know who I want to be, and I'm choosing that. Yeah. So
I
it's kind of
love
like not
that. You
not
know,
identifying what you're experiencing with.
yes.
Yeah.
And I share with individuals all the time a quote that I love, which is wisdom is avoiding all thoughts that weaken you. And like for me personally, awareness immediately neutralizes it. So the moment I'm aware of a thought, right? I just thank you so much, because thank you is a loving energy. It's a gratitude, it's joy. And the awareness, oh, I see you, right? Thank you for the awareness.
Mm,
Immediately just disempowers that, you know?
mm,
And so for anybody out there who's like, oh, she's talking. Yes, I like Ada will speak like you to what is going on in my mind, or I'll just be like, thank you so much, and keep it moving. Whatever practice feels aligned for you, I encourage you to very much give yourself permission to operate from a place of, if that thought weakens you, if you feel icky in your body, if you start to feel anxious, if you start to feel,
mm,
it's not an empowering energy, then you can just make a different choice to feel aligned, much like you
mm.
do, Ada, by recognizing it and then finding a way to disempower that.
And I
This
think
is
this comes back to this. Oh, sorry, this thing about relaxing and clearing your energy again, because it's the state of love that you said,
Yes.
Kerri. But sometimes the state of love also can be a little bit like, like your inner dragon. Like, okay,
right.
I thank you for the lesson, but get the fuck out of here. I
Yeah.
don't need you. So it depends, I think, on the situation. But everything is still out of love, because it's coming from being in your center, from choosing your inner peace, a peaceful state of being. So that's always love, but sometimes that has to be a little bit more like,
Yeah, love
you know
isn't always soft. I tell people
tough
all the
love.
time, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
we think love is soft and fluffy. It's not. Love is
No,
balance.
exactly.
Love is tough conversations. Love is keeping it 100, And so, yeah. What were you going to say, Yanko? And then we're going to sign off.
I was gonna say, yeah, I was gonna say for the people that are curious, since we opened the door, I'll recommend really good book on C.W. Leadbeater called Thought Forms, which is kind of like maybe it'll open your horizon a little bit to understand how thought forms create different things for you, or and how they interact, how they can interact with your environment. That's why it's always good to like change things around your house, to move stagnant energies and things like it. That's all I wanted to
Mm.
say.
I
So
love
yeah.
that so much. Well, listen, this has been a pleasure. So, Ada, any Friday you're around and you want to pop in and educate myself and Yanko and the listening audience, or just have a good conversation, you were beyond welcome. I love this.
I
And
love this too.
yeah,
I
it's a party. It's a
yeah,
Friday.
it's like a
Although
it's
it's afternoon there, but yeah,
it's a so I feel it almost like a fairy party, because when it's like this the fairy is like, it's also the fairies, but it's a little bit like this trickster side of us, this little bit bitchy side of us,
Yes,
but it's still
yeah,
a
yeah,
loving side of us, which is playful, because it's like everything is allowed. And that's what I love about this. You're allowed to be you, and sharing our own unique energies and perspectives is just so expansive. So thank you
yeah,
for this. I love this.
yeah. I loved it. What you got, Yanko?
thank you guys. Usually you cover that portion of the stream, but I'll cover it today. Thank you for our audience and people that chatted with us. It's an energy exchange. We appreciate you guys. We love you very much, and we wish you a wonderful weekend.
We sure do.